Yo, what's up, YouTube man? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the last day of minicamp, my takeaway from it, and that's about it. So before we go into the video, I appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. Alrighty, so shout out to Kyle Yeomans for the minicamp notes that he took on June 5th. I am making this video on the 7th. That was their last visible day where media availability was able to be there, and they were able to, take pictures, take some notes about what they took away from practice, so on and so forth. The first thing that I saw right here was Trey Lance was connecting with the young wide receiver core, like Tolbert, Flournoy. You got Jalen Marino, Cropper, and Corey Grooms, undrafted free agent. For more names for reference as one of the young wide receivers he's mainly working with on the second and third team that he's getting. And really, I like that Trey Lance and Dak Prescott both have gotten praises from their coaches, especially Mike McCarthy talking about Dak, saying that this is his best program that he's had, best offseason program that he's had in the 4 years that Mike McCarthy has coached him, which makes sense to me because if you think about it, Kellen Moore's offense wasn't really that good, but if you really think about it, last year was Dak Prescott's first full year in a third new system in the NFL, and about that midway point after that Niners game, he took off and easily caught the league by storm, and he was regarded the second best quarterback. And last year, due to the All-Pro candidacy, he was an All-Pro second-team quarterback. And honestly, I felt like he should have been a quarterback that had won MVP. But since we didn't take care of business like what we don't normally do anyway, that's the reason why he didn't win MVP, because you just won a couple of your games. Just at least one. I think if you just win one game, and we all know the game that we're talking about, week 3, you're more than likely the #1 seed, and things are different. Anyway, second note, BB was working consistently at center, getting reps with multiple quarterbacks. I'm going to talk about BB. I'm going to break down BB and what my expectations are for him this coming up season. When he takes over Brock Hoffman's spot, in my opinion, if he takes Brock Hoffman's spot, I think I need BB, but I need BB to get on that same wave that Travis Frederick was with Tony Romo. And what I mean by that is when we're fake hiking, we're doing dummy calls, we're trying to draw somebody off sides, and so as soon as that idiot jumps off sides on that defensive side of that football, hike that ball. It's going to be CD's Brown's going to be get the F open. Cooks is run that straight 9. Everybody else figure it out, and that's what we're going to do. That's what I want this offense to be. When we get somebody caught off guard, somebody jumps off sides, I need that to happen. I need that ball to be snapped immediately, and the routes I just said needs to happen. Now, the third thing that I saw was both DeRon Bland and Eric Kendricks had picked off passes. I saw Patrick Nosey Walker talk about that as well, about defense and offense was going back and forth. Dak Prescott was throwing the ball into the flat. That's where Eric Kendricks picked off Dak. Then Dak came out the very next series and drive and went out there and threw a seam pass to Brandon Cooks. Got both sides fired up. DeRon Bland made a great play on the ball as he normally does. He's a ball-hogging corner. That's why we love him and Diggs so much, because they're one of the few corners that I've grown up watching. I've seen Byron Jones, Terrence Newman, Brandon Carr. But I live in the dark days of us not having no real legit corners. I love that our cornerbacks like to turn around. And our last but not least, lots of mixing and matching from different levels of the depth chart. Probably talking about switching between Udoga, Austin Richards at left tackle, center work between Hoffman and BB, wide receiver 3 spots, whether that is Cavante Turpin, Jalen Tolbert, Ryan Flournoy, which I'm about to talk about right now. Linebacker with Maurice Lewis, weak side linebacker, switching that with DeMarvin Overshown. So those are some of the mixing and matching that they're possibly talking about. I can't think of anything else. Maybe the safeties, if they want to utilize our safeties like we've been doing. You got Wanye Thomas, you got Malik Hooker, you got Marquise Bell, you got Donovan Wilson. So we have Israel Mukwamu, who's a hybrid center corner. So we can do whatever we choose to do with him. I think he should make the roster and should have an impact unlike he didn't have last year, which for me didn't make any sense. But Zeke Elliott had a quote saying that he still views himself as a starter in this league, but also I got to take care of my body and make sure that I'm fresh for when it matters, which that part is true. I still do feel like that he does need to take care of his body, that when he comes down to the playoffs, we have a fresh Zeke, rather than, he's getting a boatload of the carries, or is he getting the second most carries on the team like what happened in 2022. I feel like that was one of the main problems, even though with him not being super dynamic, but him basically almost limping into the playoffs was another problem that I had with Zeke. But more breaking out the quote, he said, what's that going to look like? He's not necessarily sure, but he's going to figure it out. And then when talking about the running back by committee, he said he doesn't know exactly what it looks like, but we'll see. He said he's going to do whatever it takes to help this team wins, whatever that is. We'll see, because we don't know if politics are going to take part in this. We don't know. We do know, but we don't know when it's going to be, what it's going to be for, or how it's going to be executed. But the Dallas Cowboys will be trading for or picking up another running back, whether it's a team off the roster versus, like a guy like the Jets. Israel Abanikanda is more than likely not going to make the roster because you're not starting over Brees. They drafted Braylon Allen in the 4th round. They drafted Isaiah Davis, I think, a pick before him or after him. They just picked up Tariq Cohen like not that long ago, so they're going to be played out of running backs, and they're going to cut somebody. And I think Israel Abanikanda is going to be the guy that gets the boot. You got to think about the Dolphins. They got Jalen Wright, Devon Achane. They got Raheem Mostert. Jeff Wilson more than likely is going to be the guy that's going to get cut. They have Alec Ingold at fullback because they're still one of the few teams that run fullbacks, like us, like the Niners, like the Ravens. There's only a few teams that really run fullbacks or actually utilized in the league. So we'll see what the Dallas Cowboys do at running back. I feel like they definitely do need to make a move for a guy like Israel Abanikanda, like I was just saying. A lot of traits, and he was one of the premier backs that people looked at when coming out of what school did he came out of the same school as Kenny Pickett. I think that's I forgot what school that is. I think Pitt. I think that's what it was. It was Pitt. Came out of Pitt in 2023. And then Patrick Nosey Walker saying that he's going to right now and claim it that he is buying stock into Ryan Flournoy, saying that he is going to turn heads in Oxnard. The plays he's making thus far largely hint at it. And the play that he's describing was that he caught a back pylon grab for a touchdown at the height of his vertical, and the quarterback never stood a chance despite being glued to him on the jump. And then last, to add more to the story, they said Flournoy elevated and snatched at the high point after a crisp route, then battled his own momentum by contorting onto the way down to get both toes tapped in bounds. Again, I think a lot of people like to compare him to Baby Dez. I don't view that. I just view him as a Ryan Flournoy. Falling in love with comparisons can really get you hurt in terms of like having expectations for this player. Like I can understand a team or a person who grew up in the 60s or in the 70s or in the 80s who watch the Cowboys and don't really care to watch film because they have other things they got to take care of. They have other responsibilities. I can see them falling in love with some of these comparisons. I don't think Ryan Flournoy is a Dez Bryant. I can see sort of what people are talking about, his high point catchability, that once you get him the ball in his hands, he has that get out my way type of mentality. And I really like that out of him. But I felt like if he can develop on his route running, and I feel like if any wide receiver that has the athletic makeup to be one of those ones, as long as they can run routes at a decent enough level where they can separate, that's why guys like Larry Fitzgerald, Julio Jones, Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was the main person. He played 20 years in the league. He was able to keep himself healthy. He was able to run routes. He knew the offense like the back of his hand. And he was able to run any single route. And everybody knows from X, Y, and Z. He knew everything in the playbook, right? And I think that with these wide receivers, they have to know how to run these routes crisp, because if they do, they can stay around this league a long time, because what's going to go first is your athleticism. We saw it with Dez Bryant. We see it with a lot of these great wide receivers that are really great after the catch, or these wide receivers that are really great at the catch point, that once all it takes is a broken foot. All it takes is a torn ACL. We saw Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup was a prime example. We saw that. He was he was a freakishly athlete. You hit him in his ankle, he'll flip over you. He'll do a whole front flip, turn around, score. Like, he would do everything like that, right? And then all it took was one ACL, and all that was gone. He couldn't separate. He couldn't make the big plays. If he was making big plays, it was against like second or third tier corners, or there's corners out that couldn't keep couldn't keep in front of anybody, but let alone a guy like Michael Gallup, who's been in the league for a while. So all it takes is one good injury to one of these big, athletic, freaking nature type of dudes, and it's a wrap, right? So that's why I'm hoping that Ryan Flournoy, which I do believe, I agree with Patrick Nocia-Walker that he will be a guy that will turn heads at Oxnard. Hopefully this isn't like a TJ Vasher's type of situation where he makes, again, a big play in training camp and he doesn't get a whole lot of action or a whole lot of burn come preseason time. So again, Dak, Trey Lance are looking really good. Those are really good for our future. If Trey Lance can keep developing, and if we do decide to let go of Dak Prescott, when we do bring in Bill Belichick, hopefully Jade McDaniels and the guys that do come in can be able to put around a simple offense. They still can run the hard offense like they normally like doing. They can do that. BB getting work consistently at snaps at corner. Not corner, but center. And that is because, obviously, he might be snapping to Dak Prescott for the majority of his time, but for him to eventually earn the respect of the front office and the coaching staff, he needs to go out there and just beat out Brock Hoffman flat out. So he needs to know how to snap to Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, Dak Prescott, and then whoever our full string quarterback is going to be, which will more than likely be promoted to the third string because Dak Prescott isn't going to play any preseason snaps. Deron Bland, Kendricks are both making plays in training camp. Oh, my bad, mandatory minicamp, excuse me. Then, you got Ronald Flournoy turning heads, and we're seeing a lot of competitive spirits out there. And that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.